recorder. All right, all right, all right. And we're recording. Three, two, one. Welcome to the show.
You know what I miss?
What?
I miss the
Oh, with the audio? Yeah, because now this is so much easier when we do it with Zoom. No, and whenever I do audio, my girlfriend came with her family and she stayed at my house, Yelena, with her kids and fucking around. I did a podcast with her little boy in the backyard.
balcony. It's cute.
And I took out the mic and it parece que le apretamos un botón at one point and we didn't have any audio. I'm like, yeah, I am not your audio engineer.
Yeah,
This
but I
is
thought
not my
that was
I am the talent on the show.
girl. You're the talent, the producer, the director, the editor, everything.
And
The
this has been an
coordinator.
experience, that's for
Think
sure.
about how much you've evolved, like from going to that where you had to edit stuff and match audio to now, like
Yeah.
have so many guests and doing all of this on your own in a, like in a seamless way. So,
For sure, for sure. All right, so let's give you an intro. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Monica Clavijo, and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast. And today is one of our original guests,
yeah,
who was part of the approach and inspiration for the podcast. She was the one that was encouraging me 2 years ago to start this fun-filled spirit that's turned into a spiritual podcast, whatever. But that's a whole nother thing because it started with dating apps and the
girl talk.
catastrophe
Yeah.
of dating apps in the Miami market and all the men there and the shitty experiences that that we were going through. And she got me to get on a dating app after a really toxic breakup that I went through. And she was like, girl, you need to get back on the ball. The way you do this is through dating apps. And I followed her lead, but my experience was not as pleasant. But you did kiss a few frogs.
Of course, like that's unfortunately that's the way that the game is played.
Yeah.
There's people that are not honest, and from what I hear from my girlfriends that are still on them, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Well, there's people who are married and they're still looking for other people, and they don't tell you till after you schedule the first date. And there's people who haven't healed from past traumas and are still trying to date, and there's people who are just looking for the hookup. So I don't think anything has changed since I've been out of it, from what I hear from friends. But it's the way that I see it again. You just have to keep your hope high and your expectations low, like, and
I
stay
don't know.
picky.
My experience when I relocated over here, I did join I started with the Facebook friends one just to meet people because I don't know anybody here, right? So I was like, okay, let me see if I can make some friends who can show me around town and make this transition a little smoother. But so I joined that one and then I was like, "Ay, what the heck? Let me just join one of the dating apps." It wasn't Bumble. What's the other one? Hinge.
Yeah.
So I got on Hinge and I met a couple of characters on there, but I will tell you that I don't know if to take this as a compliment or an insult. I'm going with a compliment. But I got sent a lot of pineapples.
Okay.
And I didn't know what that meant, and I was like, what's up with all these pineapples that I'm getting sent, And finally I Google it and I get it. It's right? Like threesomes and open
Open.
marriages, and a lot of them were marriages. Like they were actual married couples that are looking for what is that called?
Yeah. Just
Throuples, right?
throuples, swingers.
Yeah. So that's a big thing here in Orlando. That's big. That's really, really big here. Everybody's into pineapples over here. They got pineapples in their on the back of their cars, like bumper stickers. Yeah.
I came across a man here in Miami. I went to a comedy show, and this dude sat in the front. You know how that you sit in the front, you're asking for it in a comedy, like in a stand-up show. And he had on the shirt that had the upside down pineapple and said basically pineapple mode. So of course the comedian sees it and
Why is it upside down? It's an upside down. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's
it is. I don't know the origin of it, but yes, it's an upside
okay.
down pineapple. And now apparently they're also using flamingos. I learned that through like cruising because people put
Or
now.
unicorns. Isn't like a unicorn one too? Like
It used to be unicorns, but now apparently it's pineapples and flamingos. Pero the comedian looks at the guy and he's like, "Are you really a swinger?" He's like, "Yeah, like here's my, girlfriend. We've been together for 7 years." And it's like, "And both of you swing?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't know, man. I've never seen a fat swinger before." And I was like, "Oh my God, claro." It's a comedian. So the guy just starts like ragging on him.
yeah.
He gets him up on stage. He has him pick out some young girl from the crowd, puts her up dancing. Like, and they were all for it. They were like, whoever wants to join us tonight, and that's Miami, you know. So I think it's something that's no longer as taboo. We worked with somebody who had kind of was open to that. And I was probably like 19, 20 years old the first time I had heard it. And I was like, that's a thing. So it's been around for a while, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah, it's always been a lifestyle. Sure. I just think it's like anything else. It's becoming more socially acceptable now to do that. Like, it's cool, right? It's like he, she, they, them,
Yeah. Well, think about, I don't know if you've heard
throuples.
of the senior communities where the seniors drive around in golf carts with the little loofah.
Girlfriend, I live over here in Orlando, and one of the most popular senior communities, over it's like right by my house. It's actually like a really nice area and it has everything to do. And there's even a dating app for that community. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. So they have the loofahs, and depending on the color is what you're into. I'm into a dude, I'm into a girl, I'm into threesomes. And I'm just like, oye, estos viejos están acabando. They're like, I'm going out with a smile, baby. Let's
Good for them.
go.
But yeah, they say that STDs are the highest in nursing homes because
Yes. Yeah, because everybody's banging everybody there. It's like at that point, does it matter? Like it's like, how many how much more time do I have here?
exactly. Can I get pregnant? No, but
Right,
carajo, do it.
right.
And
To
they're living
let
their best life.
Yeah, I just had a great interview with this she's now an advocate for HIV, and she was talking about how, oh yeah, she got HIV at the age of 46, you know, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. She was going through a hard time with her ex-husband. And tú sabes, we all need a little TLC. And she decided to cheat on him. The husband was cheating on her, so she cheats on him with a gym buddy that she's known forever. She says
Yeah.
for years. And the guy parece que was on the DL and gave her AIDS, gave her HIV,
Yeah.
and he didn't tell her. He knew that he had it and he didn't tell her, and they had sex twice only, and she was like, it's what we always talk about. She intuitively felt like, "Ay, this is off. This is not right. This doesn't feel right." And that's why she never saw him again. But she started feeling the symptoms, right? Like a light cold that you start getting. Her throat was really hurting. She started developing a rash on her shoulder, and oh yeah, she ended up getting HIV like later in
It's
life.
sad, but we have to be grateful for medicine and the evolution of
Well, that's
medicine.
what she says. She's like, I don't live in Nigeria,
Yeah.
right? Where they don't have access to a daily pill that I take that keeps me HIV negative, right? And where I'm not able to, transmit the disease or even feel the effects of it. She says, as
Yeah.
soon as I lost the virus in my system through the medication, I stopped feeling all of the symptoms that I was feeling.
Yeah. No,
She
you have
has
to
no
be
side
grateful.
effects from the medication at all.
Yeah, I have somebody that I used to work with too that was very open about his HIV status, and he got it from someone who also wasn't open about it. And it if anything, it gave him a new view of life where he turned also into like this health junkie and the gym and my body and
I
my
mean,
diet.
what are you gonna do at that point, right? Like it is what it is. Like you got stuck. But let me tell you that in watching this lady and speaking with her, and she's so open about and authentic about her experience, I
And
was
she's
like,
real, which is what you need to hear.
yeah. And
Not the
she looks
medical terms or
and she looks great. She really does. She goes to the gym every day. She looks like Hercules, like
no,
like
no,
in a
she looks
female
healthy.
version. Yeah, she looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, she
And
looks healthy and she looks like she has a good, strong head on her shoulders, which is
no,
what you
totally. And
like.
she's very spiritual also, and that's always so she talks about that, like how such a negative experience that she had to experience evolved her spiritually, like it catapulted her to another level, because
I
it just
believe it. I
yeah,
believe that traumas is what usually leads us to these like spiritual awakenings
yeah,
because it's like, what else do you look for? So you have to kind of look for that message. You have to open yourself up, and it could be Buddhism, Catholicism, Catholicism, whatever, Christianity. It's in so many different forms, but usually you find it at the end
whatever,
of
yeah.
the tunnel,
Hmm.
So I'm glad she found hers, but she sounds like she sounds like she has a good head on her shoulder and she can be a lot of help for a lot of people.
No, she
So
was
that's awesome.
great. Oh yes, yeah. In speaking with her, like I was like, you know what? I'm getting my hormones checked now with my gynecologist. I was like, you know what? Let's do a little blood panel here. You know, I haven't done this in a minute, right? Because it's not something that's really top of mind, right? Where you're just like, oh, you know, let me get an HIV test, right? Like you're not,
I
or at
do it.
least,
I
or
actually do it.
or at least
Yeah.
you don't think you're putting yourself out there like
Yeah.
that,
I
right? But
did it every year. I still do it. And I remember only one time, like the nurse at the gyno's office is like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, why not?
right,
Like, if I'm a single woman and I'm putting myself out there and you can be as careful as you want, but you never know.
you never know.
Why
You
wouldn't
never
I? I'd
know.
rather, catch something early and luckily, knock on wood, I haven't caught anything, but I want to be on top of things and I want to make sure that if you catch something, especially cancer, I mean, we've had all these cancer conversations, you and I, with our family histories, and it's like, why I have a cyst. I have a cyst in a breast that they've been monitoring every 6 months. And the
Mm,
doctor just told me, hey, don't worry about it. It hasn't grown. We're gonna go back to every year. And I was like, the fuck you're not. You're either gonna check me every 6 months or you're gonna remove it. So I have a follow-up appointment with a specialist to take a look at it because if it's not bothering anybody and it's just in there, why are we going to allow it to grow or turn into a problem? Get it out. So,
right.
being on top of your health is important because
Super
sometimes
important.
you find out things too late. So
Yeah, yeah, especially yeah, as we're aging and getting older, right? It's this is where everything starts pronouncing itself a little stronger. Like I always say, my check engine lights are starting to all go on.
exactly. And then it's like, is this normal? Is this menopause? Is
Right.
this age? Like, what are we doing here? But I rather get myself checked and get an answer from a professional than to pretend that I know what I'm doing and it's just going to go away.
Yeah, yeah.
Denial is not the solution in anything that we're going through right now.
For sure, girl. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you know, Jackie, and I know that you're doing so incredibly awesome with your boo because I see all your posts and girl, you got lucky, but it took you a minute to get there because you had to kiss a few frogs, and I remember our conversations with us sharing some of the guys that were hitting you up on the dating apps and everything. So I guess the question is, you know, how did you know that he was different, right? Like, what was, now that you've been with him, how long have you been? It's over a year already.
Over a year, it's about a year and a half, a little bit
Yeah.
over a year and a half now.
You know, and you guys are doing great. You're, you know, you guys are traveling, you guys get along, right? So what was it about him where you were like, okay, I need to fight for this one a little bit harder, especially with the few hiccups that you had in the beginning?
Yeah, it's the effort, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if a man wants to be with you, nothing's gonna keep him from
I
you.
agree. I agree. A
If
man
a
will
man,
not allow another man to step it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if a man doesn't want to be with you, there's nothing that's gonna make him stay either.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely the effort in getting to know each other. And I think that's something that I've said in the past where it's like he's the one that challenged me. He's the one that saw that the wall was up and he's the one that asked those questions. And he's the one that was like, are you ready to be in a relationship?
Yeah,
You've
I
been so
remember. Yeah, he was very vocal. He was very
yeah.
communicative. Yeah, right
At the
about that.
beginning. At the beginning, he was extremely, the communication was great and the challenges were there and the right questions were being asked. And, we had that hiccup and the issue was communication. And I think that anybody that you ask, if there's one thing that you can improve in your relationship is communication. But we both learned from that hiccup
Hmm.
and we're both very vocal. Like, now, like there was one moment that it's like, hey, I have these few things that I want to talk to you about. Like you learn your communication style,
Well,
right?
that's what
So
that also right. That also happens with time. There's also that comfort level that starts developing through love and you know, just the daily or weekly or however many times you guys see each other,
yeah,
right? Like you start developing this kind of like confidence with each other where you know exactly, you know your styles. You know what I can't say and what I can't say because I'm gonna piss him off or
exactly.
vice versa, right?
And you're never gonna find like your equal. Like me and him get along extremely well. We have very similar personalities. We laugh at the same things. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to find somebody that's that much like you, but it takes time to get there.
Yeah.
But you learn that person's communication style. It's like, hey, you know, I want to talk about these things. Here's a list of things that I want to talk about. Sit with it, think about it, and let's talk about it tonight, if not tomorrow. So
Hmm.
I learned that from him. It's like I'm at the moment. Like if something is bothering me, I'm letting it out. I want to talk about it. I want to put it away and I want to go to sleep before, I want to solve it before we go to bed. He's not. He needs to think about it. He needs to think about his answers. He's very logical. He thinks of all the different outcomes and then he wants to talk about it tomorrow.
That's a
Okay,
man thing, right? Isn't that like a male trait though?
100%. So then what do I do? Okay, this is how you communicate. I need to kind of tell you what's going on, give you that moment, and then come back to it. And
Right.
it's worked out so far. There's things, and I mean, again, it's crazy because there's times that I'm like, we don't argue. We don't argue, we don't fight, we don't fuss. Obviously, we're two grown ass people with our own lives and our own responsibilities. And there's times that there's a conflict and you need to discuss it.
Right.
And it's just like a checkpoint. Are we still on the same page? Are we still having the same ideas of the future? Is this, what we're looking to do? And there's families involved. How does this affect the families? How does this
Sure.
affect the people that we live with? Like learning how to have those conversations, even though it's easier for me because I've learned to
Yeah.
communicate, because when you don't say things, then those are the things that kind of blow up at the end. But also giving him the opportunity to sit with it and then come back and talk about it.
Right.
So I think that's very important too. Like when you find a partner is respecting, it's not just love languages, it's your communication style. I have a friend who was big on the what was it? Like the anxious love and the dismissive love,
Yes. Avoidant.
avoidance and all of that. And she's like,
Yeah.
I think I just met an avoidance. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm such an anxious love and I'm this. And I'm like, that's all great. And I'm sure there's like a whole psychological meaning behind each one of
Right.
those. And that's fine. But it's, I don't know if you remember when I was doing the podcasts with Alex that I was like, what are your red flags? Like, what are the things that you need to work on?
Mm-hmm.
Don't just try to figure out the other person, also try to figure yourself out.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah. You have to recognize your flaws as well.
100%. And there's a lot of times that I catch myself and it's like, I can say this, but that's my toxic side, which we all
Mhm.
have, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
So, like, what value does this comment add to this conversation? None, then I'm going to keep it to myself, And there's a lot of times that I bite my tongue because it's not important things. If it's something that's important, I'm going to let it out. But there's a lot of things that we see with our toxic eye due to our traumas that it's like, is that really happening or is this my trauma talking to me? And I did therapy for a little bit at the beginning of our
I
relationship,
remember. Yeah. I remember.
not just for our relationship, but there was a lot going on with my family and I was just trying to get my emotions in place and it helped me a lot. Like, she taught me a lot of exercises, just to kind of stop, think about it. Is this necessary? Or you're feeling this kind of emotion, feel it, but let it, pass and move on and stuff like that. And
Right.
I totally advocate for that. Like anybody who's going through something that just needs help sorting out their thoughts should look into therapy because it really does help you. I didn't need it long term. I ended up finding myself just having casual conversations with her where she's like, you're on the right track. And it's like, okay, why do I have to pay a co-payment every 2 weeks for someone to tell
Right.
me
Right.
I'm on the right track? I'll come back to you if something changes or if I need, the help.
Yeah. If the shit hits the fan.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I haven't. It's been a while, but it really helped me just kind of sort my thoughts and my emotions to make sure that I'm not bringing this traumatic experience of, going through a divorce and being cheated on and all of these, men that didn't lead up to anything and the way that I was treated by them. And I can't let him pay for the mistakes of others, like things like that, and one of the things that she told me is like, it's okay to be happy. Like you deserve this. You've worked so hard on yourself, let it happen. Like stop overthinking things or stop looking into things, that aren't there and just allow yourself to be happy and let this man love you because clearly, the intent is there. He's putting in that effort. He's putting in that time. Like, what more do you want?
Right. Right.
So if you sit there with your negative thoughts and your trauma, like you're basically sabotaging a relationship.
But that's just it, because since you have all this built up anxiety from past traumatic, relationships that you were in or whatever the case may be, we almost self-sabotage the
Yeah,
relationship that's happy because we're like, this is going to end anyway and it's going to hurt me. So let
exactly.
me end it before it ends me. Right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's a trauma response that a lot of people have. And yeah, you're right. Therapy is very helpful.
And it could become a cycle. I have friends who are in therapy, but for whatever reason, they're either with the wrong therapist or they're not being honest with their therapist. And it's like, why do we continue to repeat this cycle? Like, you also need to be self aware. Like, this man doesn't want me. Why does it matter to you that much that this man doesn't want you?
Right, that's
Like,
not the issue right there.
where's your fact?
There's a billion men on this planet. You're gonna
Exactly.
meet another one,
The fact that a man doesn't want you is enough reason for you not to want him back.
Check him out. Yeah, check him out. That's it. That's it. He
But
doesn't want you. Next. There's another person or there's a reason why that man is not being with you at the moment because maybe there's something that you have to do on your own, or there's another amazing person that's coming in and this guy's going to be in the middle and he's going to mess
Exactly.
it up for you to meet that right person. So,
Exactly. And I would tell that to my single friends all the time. It's like any little time that you waste on the wrong one is just keeping you from the right one. So if somebody has already showed you that they're not interested in you, or somebody has already disrespected you at the early stages of you
yeah,
just getting to know each other,
right.
holding on to, because the longer you hold on to that person, that you're keeping yourself from the opportunity of meeting the right person. So the way that I approached it, at the beginning of the year when him and I met was that like I was no longer going to entertain men that didn't align with my goals, my goals, my personal goals, my relationship goals, everything in life. Because I was like, why are we still wasting time, dude? Like, we're not spring chickens. We're not 21 anymore. We're not building together. Like, you should already have your shit together. I'm looking for somebody who has it together as well, and then move forward and enjoy life, as a
You
couple.
know what it is though, because I've noticed, and I could say that I was guilty of this at one point as well. People have such a hard time being alone, right?
Yeah,
And they rather be in a relationship that they're miserable in, instead of being alone. And it's like, why? What are you so afraid of?
yeah, yeah,
Once you learn to be by yourself and really live in your authentic self, right? Like do shit that makes you happy. Yeah, it's
yeah,
scary for a minute because you're like, man, who do I have to, if I got to go to the hospital because I get into, God forbid, a car accident or something, who's going to
yeah.
be there to help me out? But
But you can't depend on anybody. You can
can't
only
dep-
depend on yourself.
and at that point, it's like the level of peace and self-reflection that you find when you're by yourself. At that point, it's like anybody that's going to come into the picture that's going to stir that up, it's like, no, like what you just said, like, nope, 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 nope,
Yeah,
nope. This is
exactly.
definitely not something that's going to work out for me at this point. Like, I'm
And you know
past this.
what? And this is a conversation that I have with my parents and their friends all the time because my parents got married in 1965. Okay. My father was born in 37. My mother was born in 44. Think about those times. It's a total different generation. You weren't marrying to have a good time. You were marrying to, get together and create.
Family, yeah, it was, yeah.
And the values were different. And the woman stayed home and raised the kids.
Women didn't work, right? Exactly. Like you depended on the man, which, listen, I think to a certain point, like we need to get back to these fundamental values.
I don't know if that's the answer or not, but men today that want to hold on to those values, because I like to think of myself as old school with modern values, right? Like or modern with old school values, I would say.
Me
Because
too.
I appreciate that. Like I appreciate the fact that you have a man that you can actually depend on, that
A
you can.
hundred percent.
But no one's going to tell me that I can't go buy that $3,000 purse if I want to, because I work very hard. So I think that there has to be a mutual respect. Like you both have your roles in your relationship and it's both respectable, but you can't expect a woman to also work 8 to 12 hours a day, be on her feet and come home and cook you a 3 course
Yeah.
meal
Yeah.
when she had a day of hell as well.
Right. Right.
So there has to be that mutual respect, and you have to catch the other one, where they might fall short at one moment or the other. Yesterday, I was having this conversation with my father's friend who's getting into his 60s, is single because he wants to hold on to those old school values, but homie is an Uber driver. It's like, how do you want a
Wake
woman?
up. Yeah.
You want a woman to bend over backwards when you can't even provide for her? Because if you want to hold on to those old school values,
Right. Like,
you're a
okay,
provider.
let's go. I'm not working anymore. You're going to pay for the house. You're going to pay for the bills. You got to give me some money because I got to be able to get around.
Exactly. And then I will cook clean for you and I will have your
Yeah.
underwear ironed on the bed.
I'll have your dinner ready when you get home, baby. Let's go.
Exactly. But you can't be a provider or not be a provider and then expect a
Expect all
woman.
these things. Yeah.
Because if she's not hustling, then the two of you aren't going anywhere. And we know that the economy is not getting any better. Living is expensive as shit right now.
Horrible.
So you
Horrible.
from a woman
Yeah.
and not be able to pull your part.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not just dating for financial reasons, but I think there are people in Miami that might still be because it is extremely expensive and you just want a roommate to split things with. But
I think a lot of it stems down to that as well, right? Like people just stay together because it's just cheaper to be together, right? Like it's like, okay, we become roommates, we have a house together. A divorce is going to be catastrophic for us. Where we're going to have to split everything. We got to start all over. Let's write this out. And then you hear all these dating horror stories that you're just like, now that I'm 50, I'm going to put myself back out there to try and date. Like, I don't look like I used to when I was 20 years old, right? So you start playing all these mind games on yourself that you're never going to
But
meet anybody else, and you
but
stay miserable. You die miserable with
exactly,
another person.
exactly. But my thing is that it's like, and I had to learn this the hard way, being in a relationship that wasn't peaceful, it's like my peace of mind is so valuable to me that I will figure it out. Like
Yeah,
I will work two jobs if I need to, so that I
agreed.
can
That's
just
how I
come
feel.
home and be at peace and lay my head down and not have to worry about, who's cheating on me or who's lying to me or where are they or where aren't they. Like that peace of mind has no value. So
Yeah,
I tell my son's girlfriend, make sure that you are independent. Make sure that you can do it on your own so that you never have to take shit from anybody, not even
right.
your son. If it comes down to that, like we need to be able to, like fend for ourselves so that we don't depend on another human being for basic,
Basic
food,
basic needs. Yeah,
roof over
basic
your
life
head.
needs.
Like,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and that's to me, that's the beauty is that when you've learned to be alone, you've learned to love yourself,
Yeah.
you've learned to accept yourself, then you're opening yourself up to someone else coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. And
When
it's
you're in,
and even then it's difficult.
it
So you
is
just have to accept like I'm okay being alone. I really am. I'm fine. Everything's going to work out in its highest good. It always does. Like that's what I've learned through this entire process. I'm always so worried about, oh, what if, what if I can't pay the bills? What if I can't do this? What if I lose my job?
no.
In
How many
self
times have you
in
gone to bed hungry?
That's what I'm saying. Like in self-reflection and looking back at everything that's happened in my life, everything always works out and it always works out for the better.
A hundred
We just
percent.
don't see it in that moment, right? So with that being said, before you met your boo, were there any kind of like spiritual signs or divine like nudges that you were getting from the universe before where you kind of had this feeling like something good is coming in, like I feel it in my bones, it's coming in, and my soul's telling me my man's coming?
I really think that it was that turning point of me where when I made that decision, like I'm not entertaining this mess anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm putting my foot down and I would go on a date and I would be like, you know what? The dude didn't chew the way that I like it. I'm out. Like even something that
His toe was too long.
his thumbnail was, too short. I don't care. But I was looking for those things where it's like, whatever it is, whatever gave you the ick, whether it was the way they spoke or their thoughts or anything like that, I was like, no. So I stopped entertaining things that didn't align with what I wanted. And I think that that was me telling the universe, okay, I'm ready for
Right.
what I truly deserve. Because I'm not just acting on having somebody que te pase la mano for 15 minutes. No, I'm holding off for the real thing. And I think in doing that and completely closing the door to everybody else, I opened up space for that. And I think that that's
That's
why.
exactly what they say. Like when you stop wanting and just start being,
Mhm.
just being grateful and just practice that state of gratitude with no expectations, just really living in that highest like excitement at the moment, whatever it may be, and
Yeah.
just living in that kind of like energy. All of a sudden now like the world just goes boop and it opens up for you, and it really does. There is truth to that. There is validity to that because I've been practicing a lot of Bashar's. Are you familiar with
No,
Bashar? So
no.
Bashar is an interdimensional entity that Daryl Anka channels, right? He's an alien basically from the future. And whether it's bullshit or not, I find the guy fascinating. You know that I'm into all that stuff. And I'm crazy to go see him live because you can ask him questions. But the way that he dissects, like if you bring up a dream that you had, for example, or you have like these crazy dreams where you're just like, man, and I was walking and I fell in a ditch. And like he'll break that up for you. We're just like, shit, why didn't I think of that? That makes sense.
Yeah.
But he has a formula where it's basically that. It's like live in the present moment, right? Do whatever is of fullest and highest excitement to you at that moment, right? Like whatever. What is it? Right now, my highest excitement is that I'm talking to you and we're doing this episode on the podcast. This is what's genuinely making me happy right now. Do this till you can't take it any further. Because we can't do this all day long, right? And then have absolutely no expectations of the outcome of
Yeah.
this episode that we're doing. And if you
100%.
practice that on a daily, on a constant basis, it's like anything else. It's a muscle that you
Yeah.
have to, the muscle memory, right? You got to keep applying it and keep applying it and keep applying it. It just does something to you where you genuinely do like things you just not that you stop
Open up the
caring.
space. No, but you
Yeah.
open up the space for that thing to come to you. And I still do that today, even with him in my life. And I can say that I am living, the most happiest time of my life.
Yeah.
Not because of him. You understand? He complements my life. And I love our relationship and I love what we have together. But I found that happiness before him. And it's
Right.
like, how can you make somebody happy if you're not happy?
No,
So
you
I
definitely, I've always said that, especially when I speak with my cousin Maylene, because she loves our episodes when we talk. I can't wait to do an updated one with her as well. But I always tell her, I'm like, I just love Jackie's energy. Like you just like I could be in a and especially when we started, like I was in a funk, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
whenever we got together, I was like, dude, like you make me
yeah.
happy. Like you
And the
just make
funny
me
thing
happy.
is that he's very introverted and I'm very extroverted.
That's the best. That's the
And
best.
I'll do things like the other day, dude, I went to go get blood work and they pulled out 9 tubes of blood,
Coño.
7 regular and 2 little ones. And literally, like, I looked at the lady, I'm like, but what is this? And it was like a new PCP. And I guess she wanted to run anything and everything. And I'm like walking out of like the blood work with my hand like this,
Like
like,
fainting.
can I walk? Can I drive? And there's this lady, and an SUV pulls up, the trunk opens, and this lady had like 2 packages that she needed to return to UPS. And she's like, babe, I can't get the second box. Babe, I can't and babe isn't paying attention to her. I looked at her, I grabbed the box, and I'm like, Vamos, where are we going? And she's like, what? She's like, oh my God, no, I was like, I have the box, lady. Like, where are we going? And she's like, oh, to the UPS store. I walked her to the UPS store. I gave her her box. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. He would never do something like that. He's like, why are you metiéndote en eso, bes? That's not your problem. I was like,
Right.
dude, helped her out. Her husband, when I'm leaving UPS, is that the man finally comes out of the car to finally help his wife when I had already solved the problem. I didn't give her my name. I didn't give her my information. I just
Yeah.
walked. I walked away. The other day, I put this on Facebook because to me it was such a like an enlightened moment. I was flying back from Atlanta, and I had gotten there like really early, thinking that the security line was going to be super long. I grabbed like a bagel and a Diet Coke, and I go sit in my gate. And there's this little old lady in a wheelchair. And one of the things that breaks my heart when I fly is that people put senior citizen on planes and walk away.
Hmm.
Like they drop them off in the front door and they go home. And these poor people sometimes don't speak the language. Half of the gate people only speak English. They have no way of communicating with them. And I've like made it my point because I travel alone a lot for work and stuff like that to kind of be like their advocate and be like, necesitas algo, estás perdido. Like, can I help you translate? Because these people are freaking out.
Yeah.
It happened to me the first time with 2 Colombian ladies that had to like change their seats and they didn't know how to communicate. And I was like the translator. You're sitting at the gate bored. Why not?
No, listen, help people, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing.
100%. So this lady's sitting there on her little wheelchair, and I can tell she was Hispanic. So I walk up to her and I go, ¿Estás sola? And she looked at me like, is this chick coming to rob me? And I was like, ¿Quieres compañía? Like, do you want company? And she's like, sure. And I sat there and I just started chatting with the old lady. It turns out that she lives half her time in Miami, half the time in Atlanta. She showed me pictures of her grandkids. I showed her pictures of my son. Oh, yeah, we had an hour and a half to burn. And we
Yeah.
spent the whole hour and a half until they went to call her in. And I told the guy, oh, look, this is her paperwork, whatever. Like, she needs help when she gets, to the gate over there. And she was like, ay, mi niña, muchas gracias. That's it. She gets on the plane and she was like sitting closer than I was. And she's like, ay, babe, siéntate again. I go, no, like, it doesn't work like that. I got to go to the back of my chair. Like, have a safe flight. Like, good luck in Miami. When we land, that the plane like basically empties out, I'm all the way in the back. This lady waited for me.
To say bye.
Say thank you, to say goodbye, and she gave me her phone number on a piece of paper. She made me cry because I was like, coño, an hour and a half of my time enlightened that woman where she was probably nervous about flying alone, or she
Yeah.
was probably nervous because they dropped her ass off at 8 in the morning in the airport. And we had such a like the conversation flowed like we have known each other forever.
Yeah, sometimes
Now,
God, God in the universe puts people together specifically because of, to ease the path, right? The path of least resistance.
when I got home, I said that story, but he's like, "You're freaking crazy," and I was like, "I'm not crazy, man. I made that old lady's day. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, if you can help somebody and you can just, I don't know, man, add a little seed of happiness or a little seed of kindness into this world. Like, we all need it right now. We all need it right now. Why not? So I'm that person that will talk to the stranger. I'm that person that makes friends on vacation. I never see them again because I don't follow up with people when
Right,
they come
right.
home. But at least for that moment, like." Like you make a friend and you have a conversation and you learn something about you and you learn something about them. And I think that that's the way to do it. That's another way of telling the universe, hey, I'm ready to elevate. I'm ready for my next chapter. I'm ready to, I don't know, grow in whatever way I can. Why not?
Do you feel like you've grown spiritually in the past, let's say, year?
100%. I think my brother's experience with
Yeah.
his health and his cancer journey has opened up my eyes a lot of where I don't wait anymore. If I want something and I can do it, obviously being responsible because
Right.
I have a mortgage, I have, a family that depends on me, and I just can't be like, I'm gonna quit my job and do eat, pray, love around. No, I can't do that shit.
Hi, how
But
great would that be?
but within my means, I've learned to no longer limit myself. If I want something, I'm getting it. Even like yesterday, I was driving home. It was hot as hell. I had come from my parents' house. I was super frustrated. And I stopped at Wendy's and got a Frosty. Something so stupid that cost me $2.14 made me happy the rest of the way home. And it enlightened my day. So anywhere that I can get these little peace pockets and these little
Yeah.
happiness seeds, I'm doing it. I've learned boundaries that before I wouldn't set. I'm not going to say I was a people pleaser, but I was that one friend that you can depend on at any moment.
Yeah.
And you learn quickly that that's not always reciprocated. So I've learned how to set boundaries, not just with my family, because again, my parents, their generation and what they think is right is not, what's my logic today.
Right.
So,
Well, times are right. Times have changed. Everything's different.
so respectfully, I set my boundaries with them. I help where I can, I support where I can, but I still make sure that I walk away with my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that, in work. I don't let it affect me anymore. A job is a job. In what we do, anything can change any given minute. We're seeing companies let people go in the thousands. I'm not going to go crazy. I
You
have a job to
can't.
do,
You can't. And if God forbid that does happen, you'll get another job. You'll find something
100%.
else to do.
But I'm no longer draining myself
Yeah, thinking about
a
it.
company that's not mine
Right.
or thinking about what could happen tomorrow. I do the best that I can within my best ability. I do my job. I give it 110%. But when I close my laptop
You're
and I come to
done. You're
my
done.
reality.
I agree. That's the way
So
that you have to be. When you're there, give it all. When you're
exactly,
out, focus
it's
on
your
whatever it
time.
is, your boyfriend, your mother, your father, whatever you're doing at the moment, focus on that. Right. There's people that are working on their phone 24/7. Enjoy
Um,
the moment that you have with your children, with your wife, right? With your husband. You can't be like that all the time.
work is there tomorrow. So I've learned boundaries. I've just learned boundaries all around. And I'm no longer, giving up who I am or my happiness or my peace for anybody because sometimes when you need it, people won't do the same for you. So that I have learned. And I'm still a great friend and my friends know where to find me. But it's like, oh my God, so and so says that you're such a pain in the ass. Then I guess so and so and I just aren't friends anymore.
Right.
I mean, like if they can't understand my humor and my sarcasm, which I've been that way my whole entire life, then that's not my person. I've made new friends, friends and connections that I didn't think I could. I just had a friend of mine, a coworker. She lives in Nebraska. She just came down to go on a cruise with me.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that post that you did. Yeah.
Never met her in my
She
life.
works with you, right?
She works with me, but it's
Yeah.
all remote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we
That's
had never
pretty
met.
cool. And she came over here to go on a cruise with you.
She came over here. I gave her one day in Miami because she's like, I've been to Miami. And I was like, you've been to South Beach. You haven't been to Miami. So I took her to Versailles. I took her to a brewery. Like I took her to do Miami things. We went to the Paris Museum that has like the whole intercoastal in the back or whatever so that she can see all of that. And then the next day we got on a cruise and she had the time of her life. And it was somebody that she's younger than me. She lives in a whole different state than me. Culturally, we're very different, but we had a great time.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
you
I
saw.
mean?
Yeah,
It's like you make those friendships and those connections that you never thought you would. And then my friend Rita came with me.
yeah.
How do I know Rita? That's Alex's ex-wife.
Alex from the podcast?
Yes,
Oh no, shit.
that is Alex's ex-wife. So
Was that
imagine,
the tall girl? There was one that was taller.
yes,
Is that her? She's pretty.
that's her. She's very pretty. So
Yeah.
imagine that.
Why did he fuck that up?
That's a podcast for a whole other day with her.
Woo.
But imagine that out of the podcast that I was doing with Alex, I've created a relationship with Rita to the point that I was like, hey, I'm having this girls' weekend. If you're free and want to join, and I brought two people together that would have never met in any other, like, realm of this
Yeah,
universe, and we had an amazing time.
that's how it is. That's how the
So
world works, right? That's
that's
awesome.
what I'm doing, man. Like, I'm looking for those opportunities. My sister in law is like, hey, I need to drop my daughter off in college and your brother can't make it because he's starting a new job. Will you go with me? Yeah, I have PTO and we're going to make an adventure out of this. And I've
Yeah.
already kind of planned everything and things we're going to go do and things we're going to go see along the way. I'm right now, I am for anything that brings happiness into my life.
Yeah, but I think that that's the way that that you're supposed to live life, right? Like you have to kind of live, you're living in a state of gratitude and in a state of happiness and whatever's making you happy at the moment within responsibilities, understanding, right? That you can't act like ape shit crazy because you have a mortgage to pay and a family to take care of, but you could still have fun in life, right? And not look and not be such a pessimist for everything that's happening, which is what happens with a lot of people when they get stuck in that like pity party cycle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's my, I mean, and again, I'd say I don't tie my happiness to anybody, man. My happiness is mine and I protect it with the world. And the fact that you have somebody by your side that complements that is
Yeah,
probably, you can't ask for more.
for
But
sure.
you have to find that happiness within yourself because if not, I don't think you're open to the idea of somebody, complimenting you or meeting you there or all of that unless you do it yourself first. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, so let's yeah, we were texting each other today and we were like, let's just do a little episode, a little catch up episode. So there's no specifics here. So let's do a
But tell us
little
about you first. Like, what is dating in your new town any different than dating in Miami? Quality of people, what they're looking
um
for.
I've tried to encounter Americans, right? Like I kind of, how I'm kind of like I want to my next boo to be American.
Mm.
And I've dated a couple. I've gone on a couple of dates and mira 222 on the clock as I'm talking about dating.
I love
Um you know, nothing. It just hasn't been something that has really fulfilled me, where I can say like, man, like what you said, there can be certain glitches or things that happen, and at that point you kind of like talk about it and communicate. I haven't felt that strong connection with anyone where it's like, okay, let me give this a little stronger of an effort, where I could be like, okay, like I feel that bond that you're supposed to have with another person. And again, what we were talking about earlier, I just it's going to be a year, believe it or not, at the end of this month
crazy how
that
time
we've been
flies.
here in Orlando.
Yeah.
And at first it was, it was a transition. It wasn't easy. It was, I had my moments of anxiety and like, what the fuck was I thinking? I'm here by myself with my daughter. I don't know a soul here. But I was just in Miami this weekend visiting my mom. I go like every 2, 3 months. And I see mom and my brother, and every time I go there, I remember why I left. You know?
Everybody does that. Yeah, everybody. My sister's been gone 26 years, almost 26 years.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like she'll come down and she's like, "How do you live here?" And it's like, I
I,
have
I I went, we got our Flanagan's fix on Saturday night. I saw my brother. The traffic is unbearable. I went to the beach for a little bit on Saturday and I just saw construction after construction after construction, and I was just like, the traffic here has to be freaking unbearable, you
yep.
know?
Yep.
Um,
My friend from Nebraska, she's like, I don't think I would be able to make it here, like drive here. And I was like, this is and this was talking about like a Thursday afternoon where half of the population should be at work. And
yeah.
we were still seeing, I was like, car accident after car accident, fender bender, people honking, people. I was like, I don't know how we
And
do it either.
and that's been like I guess like the biggest difference for me has been that like the cultural level of people here are nicer
Yeah.
than in Miami.
Yeah.
You still have your Hispanics, you still have your poor people, right? Your chusmas, right? Your ratchet hoes. Like you got all that stuff here too.
Yeah.
But they're nice.
Yeah,
They're
people in
nice
Miami
people.
aren't. And
Like
when I do things like that, like when I grab that lady's box, like people are so surprised.
shocked. Yeah, like what are you doing helping me? What do you want? You're gonna no over here, everybody's just nice. Like the homeless person's nice. Like you're like, here, have a burger,
Yeah.
Everybody's just nice. Now go to where the theme parks are at, right? Where all the tourists are at. That's more where you see like the craziness, but I live far away from that area. So that I like. I'm not gonna say that I'll never go back to Miami. That would never be my plan. I certainly wouldn't want to, but like anything, right? Like life has a way of telling you, okay, but you got to come back for whatever
Fine.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to though, you know. So, you know, I'm glad that we made it. The people that I work with here are amazing. The team that I work for here in this company, like, you know, I haven't had this in years where I work for a sales team that it's like we got each other's back. It's still a sales team, right? Like everybody's still gonna fight for their shit, don't get me wrong. But it's just like you feel like you have people that are actually that have your best interests at heart and vice versa. Like everybody's kind of helping. It's not like that stabbing, you know, like in Univision in Miami, everybody's just like out to fend for
That's in my
themselves.
account. Why don't I have a percentage of that commission? Yeah, we've
It's
had a
like nobody gives a shit if you're a single mother, you can't pay your rent, you're starving, they don't care. And they have their Mercedes and their apartment on the beach and their mansion in Coral Gables. They could
yeah,
care less if you're struggling. The mind shift here is a little bit different. I think people are more realistic here, they're more down to earth, they're more humane, you know? So that's been, you know, that's I think it's been a good shift. You know, my daughter's happy here. She's school starts next week. So
yeah,
that's gonna be, you know, we're gonna get back into the whole groove of life again with her starting 10th grade, you
yeah,
know. But yeah, I think overall it's been a positive change. I think I needed it. You know, it was the universe that kind of like pushed me over here because you know that I wasn't planning this at all.
yeah.
And it
And I
couldn't have
think the
happened.
first is giving you the time to adjust as well. Because
No,
imagine throwing a relationship into the middle of all of that.
you know,
You know
like
what?
I said, like I just like I have I have a listen, I get lonely. Don't get me wrong. Like there's times where I'm just like, okay, it's Saturday. My kid is like talking on the phone with her friends or, you know, I'm her mother. She doesn't want to go hang out with me on a Saturday night, you know. We'll go out to have dinner and then she's like, "Okay, I'm going to my room." So, yeah, there's times where you know, I get lonely, but then I also have that like guilt. Like, "Oh, I'm going to go out by myself and leave her here in the house by her. I don't know. Like I just I feel bad doing that, you know. So the podcast keeps me super entertained. You know, it's really leveled up. A lot of people are contacting me now to talk on the podcast, which is great. So it is making a difference, which is what initially I was what my intention was with it, right?
Yeah,
Um, and you know, it's a positive thing. It's been good. It's been a good change. Like I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better mentally. I feel a lot better, you know, physically, just emotionally, you know. Like I feel positive. I don't know
yeah.
how else to explain it. Like I feel like, you know, shit's finally starting to shift because I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting the current anymore, right? Like before I was always like, no, I gotta get control of the situation. No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no.
you don't have it.
I gotta go with the current. I gotta go with the current. Where's the current going? Let me swim toward that, you
Yeah.
know? And I'll figure it out as I move along. I always do.
But I think that's also, again, you telling the universe, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready for the next thing. I'm ready for, the next level or the next, not project, but the next experience. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
It's funny because there's this Puerto Rican lady on TikTok. I want to get her on the podcast. And she's like a relationship coach, right? But she's funny as shit. Her stuff is in Spanish all the time. But her thing is how to manifest a husband, right? And it's so funny because I'm like, "Ay, this is so cheesy." And I'm like, "Okay, what is she saying? What am I supposed to do?" I find myself listening to her and she's like, "Tú tienes que rezar." Cuando tú le rezas a Dios y al universo, tú tienes que rezarle y decirle como si tu marido ya está aquí, tu esposo, el amor de tu vida. Y le tienes que decir, Señor, por favor, protégeme ese marido mío, que está trabajando tanto y está tan bonito y es fuerte y me ayuda y me mantiene y me tiene viviendo como una reina. And I'm just like, I'm gonna
your
try that.
mantra to yourself every Monday morning.
I'm gonna try that shit. What do I got to lose?
Know what they say too in the law of attraction? It's like keep an empty drawer. Make space for that man. Like in your
Hmm.
dresser, have one drawer that's empty, which welcomes it to be filled by this person's things.
Yeah.
Try to buy things in pairs. Like there's so many little things out there that people will tell you to do to manifest it. But I think it starts with us, man. Like
Listen,
make
happiness, and that has been because one of the things that I've learned, I had to really learn how to forgive myself for all of my mistakes, right? And own it, right? And I've always thought that I'm pretty good at kind of like saying like, yeah, I fucked up, you know, like my bad, you know. But I was still like punishing myself for past mistakes that I had done. And in speaking with different people that come on the podcast, I always ask them, you know, like, why is it so easy for me to forgive you? that you fucked me over so hard, but it's so difficult for me to forgive myself,
Yeah.
right? When I should be loving me more than anybody in the world. I have to love myself the most over loving my daughter, my mother, my future husband that's out there. I have to love me first, right? And a lot of that comes with self-forgiveness, and that's really hard to do because we know ourselves better than anybody in the world, and we know how fucked up we can really be, with the thoughts that really go through our mind, all those skeletons in the closet that nobody is ever going to find out about us. We're the ones that truly understand and know that about ourselves. But
Yeah.
that's been part of like this kind of like evolvement, right? Is
Owning
really
it. Yeah.
owning it and really sitting in your skin and saying, "Yeah, it sucks. I fucked up. I'm human and I'm not going to do it again." Like, right? Like cut that pattern. Cut that pattern. Toxic people, cut them out. Cut them out. Who's toxic in your life? Who's not serving you? Who's talking shit about you?
Yep.
Block a bitch.
Who's
Block a
not
bitch.
supporting you? Who is not supporting you? Period. Who is bringing you down with just comments? Like,
Correct.
no,
Yeah, and
no.
you sense that energy, and we tend to forgive because we're like, oh, we've known this person for so many years. Listen, relationships are supposed to end. They really are. If
Yeah.
not by choice, it's through death. It's gonna happen at some point or another, you
No,
know?
and you have people for different stages of your life, and you
Right.
have to accept that. Maybe this person was your very best friend, at the moment that you needed them, and no hard feelings. Maybe that time with them is done.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not
Exactly.
meant
No
to
hard
be
feelings,
back.
but we've evolved differently, maybe they've shifted higher and I haven't caught up, right?
Yeah,
And at that point, it's like, okay, we have nothing in common anymore to talk about. So, if I see you, I'm going to say hi to you, but we can't hang like that anymore because we just don't have that, we don't have that connection anymore. And that's okay. And we have to learn how to accept that, so. Yeah, it's been interesting. It really has. It's been and as you learn and accept and just understand that life is lessons. It's one lesson after another. It's what they say, like this earth school is like you're here to get your PhD, right?
yeah,
Like, are you going to make it or not? Because
yeah.
you signed up for this. And at that point, it's like once you really understand that everything is a lesson, it's either an experience or a lesson. And when you look at it from that state of gratitude, not like, oh, this sucks. No, 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 no. This was
What is
hard,
trying
but
to teach?
what's this trying to teach me that I
100%.
that I still haven't learned?
Yeah,
So that I
100.
can keep shifting because I just got to keep shifting and shifting and shifting. So, yeah,
Yeah,
girl, pa'lante, that's just I this comes with age. This comes with right my dad would always say, el diablo no sabe por diablo, lo sabe por viejo.
yeah.
No, como es, el diablo no sabe por viejo, lo sabe por diablo. I said it
No,
backwards. Estoy igual que Chespirito.
the
I
other way.
say,
No, no es diablo por diablo, es diablo por viejo because of all the years and all
oh,
the.
right. Okay. Estoy igual que Chespirito. You don't remember that show Chespirito que he would say all that refrán is wrong? Yeah,
Yeah,
that. Okay.
that's
El
what it is.
diablo es diablo. ¿Cómo es?
It's my yeah, I can't I would have to Google it, but basically, yeah, the devil is a devil more because of the years in his life than just
Yeah,
because.
because he's old, right? And with age comes wisdom, and you learn. And that's why it's so
But
important
yeah,
when you are younger in life and you have amazing parents, as we have been so blessed in having, when they talk to you and they tell you, listen to me because I've been there, done that, and I've already crashed and wrote the book, and we're like, I know, tú eres muy anticuado, tú no me
yeah,
entiendes, I know more than you do. We're living in different times. Same shit. Like,
I
listen
agree.
to them.
I agree, but at the same time, generationally, we're not living the same times.
Yeah.
So I feel that, coming from those old generation Hispanics, there's a lot of guilt. You have to help this person because esa es tu sangre. No, esa sangre, when it was my turn, to get help,
They
they didn't
weren't
give a
there.
shit
They
about
didn't give
my
it.
feelings
Yeah, but
were.
that's another thing too, because
Generational.
as human beings, also we tend to think that way, like, oh, fuck them. They didn't help me when I was on the ground. But you can't think like that. You
You
can't.
can't, but you can't also like pour yourself into somebody who wasn't gonna do it for you
No,
just
you
because they're
right.
your
No,
cousin or your brother. No,
right.
I'm sorry, but no. So that's one of the things that I tell my son. Like there is no guilt. Like my dad will call me, hace 3 semanas que no sé de mi nieto. Tu nieto is going to school. He's working 8 hours a day. He has a girlfriend. He has a gym routine. You're sitting at home twiddling your thumbs. Why aren't you calling him? Why are you waiting for him to call you? Like, if you have the time and you thought about him, call him. But don't give him that guilt. Like,
Right.
can't you can't compare yourself to somebody who actually has a social life and a job and a career and so I tell him, like, don't let that guilt you. Like, yeah, call him, make time. Family's important and they want to hear from you too. But also, like, don't allow like those little comments, to bring you down either, because we also have to set our boundaries and have our time to recharge and, energize ourselves for the next day. And it can't be based on someone else's needs or emotions towards you. Like, you still have to prioritize yourself.
The
So,
when when I went this weekend, I'm there with my little bro. I love him so much. And he starts telling me about a cousin of ours that bought a boat. They live in West Palm Beach, and they bought a boat, and he has a wrapper on the boat, and he called Robert like, "Hey, how do I take this off?" And my brother was like, "Oh no, cuz, don't worry, bro. Like, dude, if you don't know how to do it, I'm gonna go to West Palm and I'm gonna help you take it off." I was like, "Motherfucker, when I moved to Orlando, I asked you to help me like throw furniture away so I didn't have to pay somebody to do it." My brother wouldn't return my text messages, you know? And I was so mad at him
yeah.
because I actually had to get somebody else to help me. I was like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah.
Pero
But if he
that's
calls you tomorrow, you're there.
like, que le gua. But
Because
you know
that's
what? It is what it is. This has been the cycle of my life when it comes to this situation always. And I've learned to accept it at the end of the day. It's my family, it's my immediate family. But
yeah.
I'm in Orlando for a reason. You know what I mean? So,
I literally called my sister yesterday and I was like, I should have left when I had the chance.
hmm,
Because the worst thing is, parenting your parents now with different generational values and different
yeah,
ideas and hard-headedness and
sure.
them accepting the fact that they're not spring chickens anymore and trying to do things that they should no longer be doing. That's exhausting as shit. And I'm pretty sure that that's exactly how they felt about me when I was a teenager. Like, esta chiquita no hace caso, y esta chiquita no
Claro.
entiende.
Of
And like,
course.
my karma is coming to me with my parents now, because it's like every time I go over, it's like my mother's logic is lost and she'll tell me
Yeah.
something
I've
and
noticed my mom kind of like I could tell she's like in slower motion. And I
yeah,
was with her this weekend, she'll ask me something like three times and I'm like, wow, my
yeah,
mom's my mom's getting up there in age.
yeah. My mom's like, I had a question, but I forgot it. So hopefully while I sit here, it comes to me. And I'm laughing, but it's like, what can you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? You can't teach them our way of thinking or
Yeah.
experiences, because they have their own and they've been living a lot longer than we have. And you have to respect that. But at the same time, you have to let them respect your boundaries
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's like
There's times
anything
when my
else.
mom calls me, where are you? I am home alone with my dogs. Oh, pensaba que iba a pasar hoy. No, today I need a day to myself. I don't have energy to go over there and argue with you about the things that you think, are logical that are not. So there's times that, again, you have to set your own boundaries and you have to have your
Oh,
own
yeah,
time.
but that happens to me with my mom too. My mom will be like, pero no vas a venir para acá para las Navidades. And I'm like, okay, pero I'm going to your house because then she wants me to go to her house to then go to her sister's house. They live in Homestead. And I'm like, yo no voy a manejar 17 horas.
In a trip where I'm supposed to be relaxing myself.
Exactly, because aquí la que está manejando todo el mundo soy yo. Entonces ni me puedo tomar una copa de vino porque tengo que manejar 17 horas.
Yeah. No.
So
And it's, again, it's taking care of them, supporting them, but also respecting your boundaries, man. Like, we can't pour from empty cups. You need to make sure that you're taking care
yeah.
of yourself before you take on other people's bullshit, which it might not be bullshit. It might just be things that they,
What's the,
were
the
dealt with.
the analogy that I love about that is like, right? In the plane, if it's going down, how the masks, the oxygen mask, you
It's
got to
like
put it
you
on.
first.
You got to put it on yourself because before you put it on your children, because if you pass out, guess what happens
Yeah.
to the kids? So yeah,
Yeah.
you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, so we've been talking crap for over an hour. So let's give a little final message from Jackie to women who feel like it's never gonna happen.
Stay picky, man. You have to stay picky. Find joys in other things. Like, joy is not found in a man. And until you don't find that joy within yourself, you're not opening yourself up to that companionship.
Yeah.
And just make sure that that's all you're looking for is that companionship, that person to travel with, that person. I would tell you, I'm looking for someone to retire with.
Ah,
You know,
yes, me
I
too.
joke about it all the time, but I'm like, I'm ready for the 55 plus community. I want to go play bingo. I want to go,
You're
do
gonna
the
do you're gonna do the loofahs on the golf carts?
baby. I might just do the white lupa that's like white flag, leave me alone. I don't know what it'll be at that moment. But it feels great to not settle for less and make room for that one
Yeah.
person that comes and shows you this was worth waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what a healthy relationship looks like. This is what a man who has the right intentions with you, this is how he acts. This is what you've always deserved. This is the respect, and it's mutual. Because you can't sit there and be a nag y estás jodiendo a cada 5 minutos, ¿dónde tú estás? And let me get your location and expect a man to like, like bend over backwards for you. It's a
Mm-hmm.
mutual respect, and it's understanding what everybody needs, getting those tough questions out from the beginning. And if there's something that doesn't seem right, haul ass in the other direction, because pretty sure nobody's going to change at this age, and nobody's going to change at this point in our life.
That's what I always say too. Like it's like people are you can it's got to be something so life altering for you to really make a change. Like, right, maybe you're like a drug addict and like you get into an accident and all of a
Change for
sudden,
the better.
you know what? Right, right,
Yeah.
right. That's what I'm saying. But I agree. I think that people are kind of set in their ways and it's like, what you're meeting. Yeah. Can you alter a little thing here and there? Because I know that it irks you if I leave the toilet seat up all the time when I use the bathroom. Okay, let me give this a little more effort and understand that I have to put the toilet seat down.
But
Um,
it's the way that you send that message. It's not, coño, you always leave it. No, it's like, hey, listen,
Right. Yeah, this really
you
bothers
help
me
me out.
because I'm half asleep and I'm falling through the toilet when I try to pee. Can you please put the toilet seat down? Exactly.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I've learned. I've learned to, because I'm very quick and I'm very witty, you know what I mean? Like, I've learned to stop, think about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, and make sure that the message gets across in a way that's respectful,
Yeah, you got to
to
pick your battles, right? Like pick your battles too.
100%,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. Like, if you hang on to your solitude and your peace and your tranquility, then you will find somebody that complements that. But
Yeah,
if you attach yourself to the first bit of attention that you get, it's going to be another whirlwind. And
I
some people
agree.
like that. Some people like that. Some people need that drama in their life. Some people need to come
That
to.
it goes back to what I was saying. Like people just don't want to be alone. Like they rather be miserable than be alone. And once you fall into that, once you understand the peace that you feel when you are alone, this is what scares me about being alone for so long. Because I've been alone for a minute, right? Yeah, I've met guys and I've dated, but have I really had a boyfriend since my heart broke years ago? No, I really haven't had anything really serious. And the more that I've accepted it because I don't want to be with somebody just to be with somebody to not be alone, I get scared that I'm liking this a little too much now, right? Like I'm liking my solitude and I kind of like enjoy it. I like watching TV. I like doing my podcast. I like laying down and watching Black Mirror,
Yeah. And
the
with the
series.
right person, you'll be able to still do all of
Right,
that.
right.
I have a friend in Atlanta. I still fly to see her at least once a year. You know what I mean? And I don't let that stop. He has, fishing trips. He has a buddy that has a house in the
But
Bahamas.
but that's a good thing because you guys still have like your friendships active. A
Exactly.
lot of people don't have that. Once they start in a relationship, it's like they become like
Yeah.
they're only friends. Like it's just like me and you. It's me and you. And that's got to get boring after a while. You have to have a life, a healthy life. I'm not saying like with other guys and stuff like that, but you need to have like a circle of girlfriends that you can still go to Flanagan's and let's go grab some wine and let's catch up and let's talk about our problems and you vent with them. And then you go spend time with your boo again?
And that's how it should be. You still have to be an individual,
Yeah.
no matter what, because then you lose yourself or you
That's
lose
just
the
it. You
connection.
cannot lose your individuality. That's it right there.
And obviously with consideration, because now you're in a relationship with somebody. So you
Yeah.
can't be like, I'm out Friday and I'll see you Monday and I'm gonna go like binge drink and come mierda. Like,
Yeah, you can't.
but
No,
there's
con
times,
respeto, todo con respeto. Absolutely. Yeah.
but there's times that I'm like, hey, I have this concert on this day and my friend's coming down for us to go together. And he's like, you know what? Then maybe that's the weekend that I'll go catch up with my friends. And
Right,
that's
right.
the type
Exactly.
of thing, and go visit my son who's in another state. Like, we do that all the time.
Yeah.
Also, like, we still consider our calendars per se as what works out for both of us to kind of leave at the same
I
time.
love that. I love that.
And you
Yeah.
make it work, and you make sure it's like, okay, we're back. Like, now this is our time together again. And you give
Yeah.
yourself, a day or two to catch up. And again, it's healthy boundaries. You want to continue to be an individual, you want to continue to have relationships with your friends, but you want to make sure that it's something that's complementing your life, man. Like you don't want another headache.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, tú que eres media bruja, do you feel an energy of my husband being, surrounding my orb? My orb where he's coming in soon, or do I
I
still have
think I think this was your time to get yourself organized in this new space.
get my
But I
shit
think that
together?
new space is what opens you up to your next chapter. But
Yeah.
you have to stay picky, man. You can't we can't entertain ourselves with things that are just wasting our time. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
minute that you see something off, get out of there. That's how
Right.
you tell the universe, Esta no es, I'm ready. Next. Like the deli, take the number. Okay, 6, you no, didn't work. Next, 7. Like
That's one of the things that like in my daily prayers, that I do is I always say, God, please please keep
yep.
taking out all the wrong people out of my life so that the right ones can come in, right? Like you say, like let's make space for the right people to come into your life because if you have all that negative energy, around you, that
Yep.
right person or people, and I'm not just talking about a relationship, I'm talking about friendships, right? Business relationships that can come in, and you have like this toxic energy on this side that's just like scaring all that away.
I will tell you that once I started prioritizing myself, and this was way before I met him, right? I realized that I created that space to allow him to come and see me. Once I
Yeah.
started to create those boundaries and I started to prioritize my peace, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not allowing this anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
allowing people to make me feel a certain way just because they need it. And that's when I think that I opened it up. Like there was times that I came home and I just wanted to be quiet and I sat outside in my hammock with my dogs and like a Diet Coke in my hand and I just needed to like unwind, whatever emotion from the day and just bring myself at peace again before I
Yeah.
laid on my like I made sure that every night before I came to bed that I just released whatever bad energy I may have picked up or
Correct.
other people's issues and other people's problems because I was like, I can't let this affect me. I can't solve everybody's problems because the minute that I had a hiccup, the people that were there for me were very few and far between.
No,
So
I'm telling you, I feel that like you were brought it because I was a girl. Like I look back, like I was like, man, I was a hot mess 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it was me. Oh, it was all my doing. I just kept putting myself in like, I was like bad situation after another. It's like, why did I do that to myself? Because that's what
why
I
did
say.
I?
Like, why did, what did I hate about myself so much that I would allow myself to be put in those situations for as long
Yeah,
as I did, right?
I tell that
And
to people all the time. You cannot control the other person.
no,
You
you can
can't
only control
control other
yourself.
people. You can only control your reaction to the situation.
Yeah.
So you have an option. You're going to accept it or you're not, and you're going to move the other way. And you have to do that with every aspect of your life, family,
Correct.
friends, coworkers, your damn dog, dude. Your dog te está jodiendo, ponlo fuera. I'm sorry. I need
Okay.
30 minutes without you like bothering me.
I need a break, Baba. Yeah.
Exactly. I need a break. You're going outside. And that's it. Like you need to take care of your space. Your space is sacred. And what you allow into it to me affects it's like a ripple effect of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna continue to accept chaos, then your life is constantly going like this, and there's just shit around, and you're not allowing that
Correct.
positive energy to attach itself to you because you constantly have these whirlwinds of shit all over the place that's
That's
gonna
right.
bounce off what needs to come to you. So you
Right.
need to protect yourself at all costs. And that's what's gonna allow that person, that peace, that job, those things that are meant for you to come in.
That's right,
That's
girl.
how I feel.
Preach it, sister. Preach it.
That's how I feel about it.
All right, girlfriend. Bueno, entonces, yeah, we've talked a lot of crap for a minute. It's always good. I feel so good when I talk to you all the time. I miss you. I should have called you when I was there this weekend, but I was there, like I had to take care of some stuff because Sydney started school, so I was kind of like in a rush. But I definitely have to go back within the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna reach out to you, and maybe we can do a podcast in person, and have
Like
some
good
fun
old
out here.
days.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take the equipment and I'll be an audio and engineer while I'm over there for a minute.
Wait, I just bought this bright yellow couch. It's not even here yet, but it would be great for the background. So you let
Oh
me
my
know.
God. Yes, that would be great. Oh, I have this blue one that I have here in the house. They gave it to me though. A girlfriend, the only friend that I had here relocated to Miami. Yeah. Pero
She went the opposite direction.
well, she was in Miami, and she was working for a TV station over here. And I get it. Like her son had a baby, right? So she wanted to be with the grandkid. So I totally get it. That's important. It was her
Yeah,
first grandkid too.
our priorities. Yeah,
Yeah. She went back to Miami, but she's like, I'm gonna go back. And I'm like, okay, girl, I hope so, because I ain't going nowhere.
yeah, good for her.
But I'll definitely reach out to you over there so that we can catch up. Maybe we can do a little Flanny's run and have some ribs.
Mm-mm. Have to.
Yeah. Nada, mi amiga. Bueno, thanks again for catching up. Anything else you want to say or
And life is good, and I'm enjoying it. Things
yeah,
can change in a flash, so
that's
enjoy
right.
it. It's good, and just be ready for por si las moscas. I
That's
remember
right.
when the pandemic hit, it was like por si las moscas, llegaron las moscas.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
make make sure you're always prepared, but enjoy the good times while you have them.
That's right. That's right, girl. All right, Jax, I love you. And Nada, have a great rest of your day.
Vale, we'll talk soon.
Wait, but before we leave, to everyone that's watching, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Can you believe that this is episode 71 already?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't
right?
believe how much time. Yeah.
Episode 71 will be up at some point this week. And I want to thank you all for watching and tuning in and subscribing to our channel, hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an interview with amazing guests. Jackie, comes on from time to time. We like to do this kind of like catch up, like two girlfriends shooting the shit. But we try to keep it real. We try to keep it authentic and really share our personal experiences since you were one of the first ones always on the podcast. And really the reason why I started it to begin with. So we got to give Jackie a lot of thanks. So thanks again, guys, for watching, for tuning in, for subscribing to the channel. And I love you, Jackie. We'll catch up soon, girl.
Love you, my friend. See you soon.